Alrighty, so it's the next morning. So the pork belly has been brining overnight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it out. We're going to flip it. And then we're going to stick it back in the fridge. It's looking good. Oh, it smells so good too. Oh, look at that. It's taking on some color. Back into the fridge. Alright, so we'll leave that to brine for the rest of the day now. Gonna do a bit of exercise, and then I'm going to show you guys how to make some Texas corn slaw, some regular coleslaw, and prep some courgettes and eggplant to be grilled later. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in a bit. What we're going to do first is we're going to take some apple cider vinegar, pour 1/8 of a cup, pour that in. We're going to take some safflower oil. Now you can use olive oil as well. I'm using safflower oil just because I don't want that olive oil flavor. It's a bit too strong, and it might overwhelm other flavors in the Texas caviar. So I'm using safflower. It's really healthy. You should try it. So a 1/4 cup of that. And then a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Alrighty, so we're going to heat this up over medium heat. Give it a stir. And what we're looking here is just to have the sugar fully dissolve into the mixture. Now, we've had it on medium heat for a little bit. Sugar's pretty much dissolved in there. We've got a light simmer going on. So we're gonna take it off the heat. We don't want to cook it too much. You don't want to caramelize the sugar at all, just dissolve it. Create a nice solution of the cider, vinegar, safflower oil, and sugar. So that's mixed up nice and well. We're going to put that aside to cool for a bit. And now we're going to move on to the next step. Alrighty, so for Texas caviar, what you're going to need is the vinegar, oil, sugar solution we just made. Going to need corn, about 300 grams, can be frozen, can be fresh, can be canned, doesn't matter. Black beans, about 400 grams. They can be, dried and you soak them overnight, or you can get them canned, that's fine too. Going to need a red onion, a bell pepper, can be yellow, green, red, doesn't matter. A red and green chili, garlic, and a lime. And cilantro. Alrighty, so first what we're going to do is we're going to chop up the chilies, take the top off, slide it down the middle. You can leave the seeds in. I mean, if you're really particular, you can take the seeds out, but they give that extra little bit of heat. So we're just going to cut it into thin strips. Dice it up nice and fine. And that's a good size, so we'll put that in a little bowl. Gonna take the red chili, take the top off, slice it down the middle. Gonna do the same as with the green chili, cut it into 8 slices. And then dice this up as well. That's a good size. Put that in the bowl with the green chili. There's our diced chilies. Now, I'm going to take yellow bell pepper. Take the top off. We're going to core this one. And we're going to cut this into little chunks. About 4 times as big as what we diced the chilies into. Alrighty. Take the garlic, clove of garlic, good decent sized clove. Smash it. Easiest way to peel it, give it a smash. Gonna dice this up. it's nice and diced up now. Alrighty, so now next step, we're going to move back to the stovetop. Alrighty, so we've got a frying pan here. Gonna go up to about medium-high heat, and we're gonna take a tablespoon of unsalted butter, drop it in there. I prefer using the unsalted butter, that way you can control, you know, the amount of salt that's in the dish. So we're gonna wait for that to melt. Alrighty, so our butter's melting. I'll give it a swirl around to help expedite things. We're going to take our corn. I'm going to pour that in there. I'm going to take our bell pepper as well. Throw that in there. Give it a stir, get it all coated with the butter. And we're going to saute this for about 10 minutes. Alrighty, so had this roasting about 10 minutes. And what that does is it helps cook the moisture out of the corn, get rid of some of that starchiness, and also just gives it a nice little kiss of heat and slightest ever char. So that's 10 minutes. Alrighty, so we've got this roasting for about 10 minutes now. What we're going to do is we're going to mix in our garlic. You never want to put garlic in first, no matter what recipes say. You know, saute the garlic in butter or oil first. You never want to do that because garlic cooks so fast. And then if you have to add in the other ingredients afterwards, the garlic's just left in there for too long and it gets overcooked and can become burnt, and that just ruins the flavor profile. So garlic's really, it's very delicate. It's one of the last things you should really put in if you're sauteing vegetables or making a marinara sauce or something like that. So give this mix around. We don't want to cook the garlic too much. Just want to infuse its flavor with the corn and the bell pepper. And that's good. Not even a minute really. So take it off the heat. We're going to transfer it back to a bowl so it can cool down. Alrighty, so we're going to go back to the table and continue on with the next step. Alrighty, so we've got a sort of a salad ceramic bowl here. We're going to take our black beans, and if they're canned black beans, make sure that you rinse them thoroughly. You don't want to just dump the can right in. You want to get rid of the juices that they've sort of been stored in and everything. Give them a good rinse in the cold water. So we're going to throw those in. We're going to take our red and green chilies. We're going to throw those in. I'm going to put them aside for a second. We're going to take a red onion. Now, it's not necessary. You can use a white onion, but a red onion just has that much deeper flavor to it, and it's really going to play off the garlic and cilantro and the lime juice and the oil and everything. It's red onion and cilantro is just an amazing combination together. You could eat it just by itself, the two things. So if you can, use a red onion. So onions halved. Take off the top and bottom. Give it a peel. And we're going to chop this up. So we got the red onion chopped up. Got some good size. You don't want it too small. So we're going to take that. I'm going to dump it in to the bowl with the rest of the stuff. Now, we're going to take our corn, pepper, and garlic mixture, throw that into. Oh, that smells good. Put that aside. I'm going to take some fresh and washed cilantro, or coriander, as some call it. I'm not going to pull the leaves off the stems. I'm going to chop everything up. I just ripped a handful off the plant. The stems are just as good as the leaves. So we're going to give this, that's all nice and chopped up. So we're going to take the cilantro or coriander, whatever you want to call it. I like cilantro, so I'm going to use the word cilantro. Alrighty. We've got that there. Now, if you remember from before, we made our oil, vinegar, and sugar mixture. So we're gonna pour this all over the top. Then we're gonna take a lime. Have it. Get a juicer, hand juicer, and we're gonna put the lime juice in here. And the lime juice, oh, it helps bring out the flavors of the cilantro and the red onion, and oh, it's just amazing, that combination. So we're gonna juice the whole lime in here. Get all the pulp and everything in there as well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little black pepper, put a good sprinkling in there. We're going to take some Himalayan pink salt. Salt will help bring out the flavor. Going to take some spoons. Going to give everything. So you can see closer. Give everything a nice good stir. Mix it up. And the colors are just amazing. Like, I mean, that's what you want when you're eating vegetables. You want lots of different colors. That's when you know you're getting your full range of nutrients and vitamins. Alright. Good stuff. Take a little taste. That's good. Alrighty. So now we're going to cover this And we're gonna throw it in the fridge, let it cool down and marinate. All right, so now we're gonna make some coleslaw. So I've got a green cabbage here, peeled off the outer layers. I take the bottom off, and I'm gonna quarter it. And I'll eighth it. Now, you can use a food processor if you want, but that gives you sort of like the little confetti style coleslaw, and I don't like that. I like strips, so I prefer to do it with a knife. So, just gonna do about 1/2 centimeter slices. Cut this in half. Want them about 2 inches long at the max, the slices. This, throw it in a bowl. It doesn't have to be perfectly cut. They don't have to be uniform. A little bit of diversity in the cut size is perfectly fine. So here we have about 1/3 of a good size green cabbage chopped up. So now I'm just gonna make sure to spread apart all the little pieces, separate them, the layers. All right. Now, I have some carrots peeled and topped. I'm going to take a peeler and I'm going to start doing strips. Alrighty, so that's about 1.5 carrots, ribboned. So I'll mix all this together. Now here I have a sweet apple. I've got 2 of them. So I'm going to peel this. It's already washed. Always wash your fruit and veg. Muggy day outside today. It's dry though, so we'll still be able to barbecue. Take my second one. Alrighty, now we're have them. Get a small knife out as well. Quarter them. And take out the core. And the apple just adds a nice bit of sweetness to the coleslaw. And a good bit of crunch too. Alright. So now we're just going to do little strips. Alrighty, so we got the apples in there. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a big mixing bowl just to make things easier. I'm still going to keep the ceramic one, but I'm just going to throw everything in here for the moment just to make things a bit easier to work with. Mix the apple up, get everything good and mixed in. It's like the Irish flag, green, white, and gold. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some mayonnaise and I'm going to measure out a generous quarter cup. Then I'm going to take some Greek yogurt, measure out a generous quarter cup. Now you could use just all mayonnaise, but using half mayonnaise, half Greek yogurt sort of cuts down on the fat, makes it a little more healthier and everything, so that's what it's all about, eating healthy. Now, that's only a little bit at the moment. Depending on how much cabbage and carrot and apple you have cut up will determine how much mayonnaise and Greek yogurt you use. It's always better to start off with a little bit, because then you can always add more. But if you start off with too much and you have it just too coated and too soupy, you can't really go back. So it's always best to just start off with less. Then I'm going to take a generous teaspoon of sour cream and add a second one. Now I'm going to take some spoons and mix it all up. You just really want like a light coating on the slaw. Otherwise, if you have too much yogurt or mayonnaise or whatnot, you know, if it sits in the fridge for a while, it becomes watery over time. So you really just want a light coating. And I think we've added the perfect amount of mayonnaise and yogurt and sour cream. Now, I'm gonna add some black pepper. I like pepper, so I'm gonna put a good sprinkling on. Maybe half a teaspoon about. I'm going to take our Himalayan pink salt. Give it a good dousing of that. Take my mixing spoons again. Give it a bit of a taste. Just a pinch more salt. Bit more black pepper. Give it a final mix. So we're going to take our original bowl and transfer the coleslaw from the mixing bowl and then I'm going to take a heaped teaspoon of sugar. This was my grandmother's old trick. Sprinkle that over. Give it a final mix. Take a different tasting spoon. Oh wow, that's really good. All right, so we're going to cover this now. Stick this in the fridge to let the flavors develop. I'm going to clean up a little bit. When we come back, I'm going to prepare some courgettes and an aubergine or an eggplant, whatever you want to call it, to be grilled later on. And then after that, we're going to take out the pork belly and let it start drip drying. And then we'll be done for a little bit. Alrighty, see you in a moment.